Most youth coaches think they're developing players, but they're not. They're managing them. It's costing kids more than anyone wants to admit. I've seen for the last 25 years this happen at every level. Today, I want to talk about player development and the three mistakes that are undermining it everywhere. Here's the thing about these mistakes. They don't look like mistakes. They look like good coaching. That's what makes them so dangerous. First mistake, coaching to win instead of coaching to develop. And I get it. Nobody wants to lose. But when the winning becomes the priority, even quietly and intentionally, everything changes. You start picking the same players every game, same positions, same patterns. Why? Because it works. Well, at least short term. But those other kids sitting on the bench, these players disengage, they disconnect, they don't develop, and they eventually quit. Real development isn't about scorelines. It's about decision making and repetition, giving every player the environment to think, to fail, to grow. If your sessions are built around winning this weekend's game, you're already coaching the wrong thing. The next mistake is kind of like the early bloomer mistake, we call it. This affects more kids than coaches realize. In most squads, the players that are bigger, the stronger, the quicker, they get a little bit more attention. They win headers, they outrun defenders, they score goals, they assist. Coaches kind of build a team around them. It kind of makes sense on the surface, but it's not right, is it? Physical maturity is temporary. What we don't talk about enough is those players are just simply older. Someone born at the beginning of the school year to someone at the end, especially at younger ages, the sevens, the eights, the nines. It's a huge difference. But when they get into their teenage years, that's gone. And if those kids were never truly challenged, never had to think their way through a game, well, they've got nothing to fall back on. Meanwhile, what about the smaller, younger player? They couldn't rely on the physicality. They had to find solutions. That player's been developing the whole time, quietly, consistently. The mistake coaches make is they're coaching the day, the week, the month. Bigger than that, it's the whole season, it's the year. Not just the player they are on the day or the size they are. It's incremental improvements. And the third mistake, well, most coaches don't even know they're doing it. They're coaching a drill, they're not coaching a player. The session, lots of kids, cones, running drills, perhaps passing. Technique is improving, for sure. But too much of that, there's a complete disconnect from the actual game. The problem is that the drill removes everything that's difficult about the sport. Pressure, unpredictability, decision-making. In a real match, a player will get a second or so, less even, to make that decision. In a drill where you got 5 seconds and no pressure, is that game-related? The best sessions I see are always game-related. More-sided games, real scenarios. Because ultimately, the game itself shows you what players need to work on. Stop coaching the drill and start coaching the player in front of you. The goal isn't to produce players that are great in your sessions. The goal is to make players better in matches. And of course, make them doing it on a journey that they enjoy. And if this resonates, there's a couple of guides. Have a look, check them out. They're free. Which of these mistakes do you see most in coaching? Or is there another one? Let me know, drop it in the comments, and I will see you in the next one.